Good afternoon, everyone. Today's project is PM on the RV, preventive maintenance. Basically what we're doing today is working on the engine. We're going to be changing the oil filter. That's the oil filter, the fuel filter, and the fuel water separator, and then of course 5 gallons of oil. That's what we're working on today. Again, I'm still getting it ready for our trip to Southeast Canada. Yesterday we did the generator, and it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm getting a late start today, but we're going to see if we can get it done today. I don't know if I'll finish, but if not, no big deal. I'll finish it tomorrow. So let's start working on the RV. All right, the quick overview look here. There's the engine. The oil filter is that little white thing back up in there. You got to get to it from the other side of the rail. That's the oil filter. Let's come on around. Here's the fuel filter, and down here is the fuel water separator. Dipstick, and of course oil goes in here. That is my plan, those 3 filters and changing of the oil. So let's get started on all that. I'm going to use the jacks to jack it up to give myself a little more room under there. But there we go. By the way, the drain plug on the oil pan is just a 3/8 extension, or just a 3/8 ratchet. I just put an extension on there to make it a little easier. The last time I changed oil, 14,647 miles ago. The book says every 15,000. Always remember to open your vent and open the bottom so it drains. One time I didn't, and it filled that up completely. Some people use a 5-gallon bucket. I don't have a 5-gallon bucket I'm willing to sacrifice for oil, especially seeing how I have this, and it doesn't, all it does is add a little bit of time to changing oil. All right, I'm gonna go dump this into a container and then continue draining. All right, there's the first container full of used oil. I happen to save my 2.5-gallon jugs from the last time, so I can put the used oil in there and then use that again. And there's another empty jug for the next one. I was done. I probably could have fit the rest of this in the last container. Oh well. Good enough. We're going to clean that all up, so when I come back to look for leaks later, I know it's clean. Okay, next is the oil filter. Alright, I got my cardboard moved over, my drain pan directly below the oil filter, which the oil filter is right down in there. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. There we go. That white thing right there. I'm trying to remember how I got to it. If I remember correctly, I have to come up underneath the frame rail. Don't know if I'll be able to get this on video, but we'll try. Alright, I have squeezed myself down in here between the tire, the frame, and the bumper. And I am going to try and reach up. I don't know if you can see it. Reach up underneath. I don't know if you can see it. And see if I can turn this filter. Okay, I cannot get up in there with my hands. I tried the large oil filter, and now I've got a specialty wrench here that expands, and then when you tighten it or go to loosen, it contracts and grabs it. I actually bought this for the side-by-side in case I couldn't reach that filter. I'm hoping this will actually work on that. This, again, I don't think I'm going to be able to film it, but I'm going to try using that. And this is just a extension. Okay, I got it. Using that specialty wrench. Now I got to put the new one back on, but I thought I'd show you how this wrench works. Ugh. I'm going to do it with the new filter here. Basically, it expands and contracts. So when you put, in this case I used a big extension on it, and this is the filter, it was upright. You put it on like that, and then when you go to loosen it, you can see it's squeezed on the bottom of the container, or oil filter, and then you'll be able to spin it. Quite ingenious. It has saved me more than once. So that's how it works. I'm gonna go ahead and get the new filter on. All right, I'd set up the camera before I put a bead of oil on the rubber gasket. You know, Angel and I are talking about building a new house somewhere closer to town. And I can almost guarantee you that my new barn will have a pit just for this purpose. Doing this by feel. There we go. Got it on. Get it as tight as I can by hand. I'm gonna go get the wrench and make one more quarter turn. All right, so far I've put in 2.5 gallons of oil. Which is what, 8-10 quarts, and the capacity is supposed to be 13 quarts, but if I remember correctly, it took a lot more than that last time. But we're going to do everything properly. I'm going to put in another gallon and start it up and check everything. My funnel is slow. Not quite. Let's put in a little bit more, and we'll check it. That should be about another gallon. Maybe a little less. So it's a 13 quart capacity, plus I changed the filter, so all right, I'm going to start it up and then check it. I shut you off when I started it just because it's going to be very noisy. Watching the oil pressure gauge is scary because it started up and it went for probably maybe 10 seconds before the oil pressure gauge shot up. But let's check this and see where we're at. My guess is we're going to need more oil. Well, it's definitely on the add mark, but what it specifically says, and I've read this in the manual, and it says it right here on the dipstick, I don't know if you can read it, but if it's at the low mark where it says add, it takes 2 quarts to get it up to the full mark. And I don't even think I was quite up to the add mark yet. Okay, let's check it again. Well, according to this, I'm still at least 1 quart down. It's difficult to see because the dipstick gets oil on it from the tube itself. No, I may be right there. I might be exactly full. I'm going to leave it and we're going to check it tomorrow. So we're going to stop here for the day. I still got to do the fuel filter, which they're calling the secondary filter, and the water fuel separator, which they call the, I don't know if you can see that down there, which they're calling the primary. And that's a secondary. I call that the water fuel separator, and I call that the fuel filter. So I got to do that tomorrow, and I got to grease everything tomorrow. If I remember correct, I go look it up from the last time. I think there's 7 Zerk fittings on this side, 5 on the other side, and 11 on the drive shaft. But I'll look it up because I documented it last time I changed oil. So we're going to call it a quit for the day, and we will resume tomorrow with the fuel filters and the Zerk fittings.